In my school of Kundalini sadhana, we make a distinction between raising of Kundalini, Kundalini awakening, and liberation of Kundalini. Rising is just the initial stirring or arousal of Kundalini and often happens spontaneously or as a result of Shaktipat, transmission of grace. Kundalini awakening is the maturation of consciousness that occurs from Kundalini flowing through the central channel of the spine where it awakens into self-awareness of its inherent divinity. Liberation of Kundalini is the union of our individuated awareness with all-pervasive divine consciousness. The last represents the dissolution of the Rudra Granthi, the completion of karma and freedom from transmigration. But I think the idea of enlightenment as a goal is a misunderstanding. It's like saying there's an upper limit you can attain and then you can retire and you don't have to work anymore. That's not spirituality, IMHO. What a great question. I've been wondering about the connection for years, and nobody seems to be able to give a satisfactory answer. They just give non-answers. Zen Buddhism tells us how enlightenment can be sudden, and never, to my knowledge, mentions Kundalini. Kundalini Yoga pursues the raising of the Kundalini, but those that have success don't seem to be of the same ilk as the enlightened Zen masters. I was skeptical about Kundalini until I was awoken one night by something like bullets shooting up my spine and emerging out of the top of my head, with a frightening whooshing noise. Now I know, the only way one can ever know, that the Kundalini is real, regardless of the skepticism of those that have never had such an experience just as I hadn't up to that point. But I wouldn't say it's conferred enlightenment upon me. It was just an incomprehensible frightening experience I'd prefer not to repeat. Beats me how the Zen masters got away without having to go through that ordeal. Kundalini is energy, life energy, and the minute you begin to work with energy in a structured way, it begins to rumble around. It is this rumbling that is known as Kundalini awakening, even though technically speaking Kundalini is always awake. If you keep on working with yourself, the energy, Kundalini, will eventually flush you out and you will wake up to something. This waking up is what is traditionally known as liberation, moksha, samadhi. The Western word for it, enlightenment, actually belongs to Christianity. You may be surprised to discover that enlightenment, in Tantra, the father of Kundalini, is actually quite simple and quite attainable. It is the experience and realization of the absolute, aka Turiya. Today enlightenment has become a loaded concept that seems quite unattainable, but that is how we like it in the West, mysterious, fantastic and unattainable. There are many things that must be accomplished to reach enlightenment. First, understand that you are already enlightened, but what you have done is clutter the knowledge of whom you are by covering yourself over in worldly things. This is why to rediscover yourself, one must renounce the world. This is not all that must take place, but understand that you must do the above over and over in the various conscious vehicles or more subtle bodies that we have, 7 in total. Each time one raises the Kundalini up to the head and down to the heart. Staying completely chaste when single is necessary to keep the sexual energy, Kundalini energy strong. Even in marriage one needs a partner of the opposite sex to finish the job while remaining chaste and having sacred sex, which few know about.